Hey everyone, Kirk here from Vision Bricks, welcoming you back to Beyond the Brick. For several years, the LEGO Group has produced sets ranging from many original and licensed IPs. Some of these themes have been long-lasting and amazing, bringing things like great minifigures, parts, and stories, while others sort of left us in confusion as to why they even exist in the first place. So in today's video, I'll be taking a look into LEGO's past to go over the top 5 weirdest LEGO themes. Do keep in mind that these choices will all be based on my opinions, so basically whatever stands out to me the most. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start counting down. For number 5, I'm choosing to go with a theme that I have a bit of a connection to, LEGO Ben 10 Alien Force. Now when I say I have a bit of a connection to this theme, it's not because I collected these sets, but it's due to watching the original Ben 10 series on Cartoon Network as a child. I never got to watch the entire series when it originally aired, just a few episodes here and there, but I do remember enjoying the show for the most part. Eventually live action movies were made and then spin-off series, which I didn't bother to watch. One of those spin-offs, Ben 10 Alien Force, is what led to the partnership between LEGO and Cartoon Network to produce sets for the show. The theme launched back in 2010 and consisted of 6 sets based on some of the aliens Ben Tennyson could transform into using the Omnitrix. All of the sets released were in the style of constructible action figures, or construction if you want to sound fancy. The aliens used large molded parts to make up the unique shaping of the characters and also had glow-in-the-dark features for the chest emblem. I feel like these were the lowest quality sets when it came to LEGO's construction concept, and it shows. You could easily get something from Bionicle or Hero Factory and it would look 10 times better than these. A lot of the alien designs from the show are very strange and weirdly shaped, and so translating that into LEGO just made it even weirder in my opinion. As cool as Ben 10 may have been, I just don't think that this was needed at all, hence why not long after the theme was discontinued and vanished into a dark abyss of nothingness. Coming in at number 4, we have a theme based on a show that I am a huge fan of, and I would definitely say has a much wider fan base compared to Ben 10, Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is another show that I grew up with but never knew sets existed until a few years ago. Avatar: The Last Airbender originally aired on Nickelodeon back in 2005 and lasted 3 seasons, all of which were pretty solid. It was good enough to even get a spin-off series called The Legend of Korra and a live-action film that sadly flopped. If you haven't seen that film, you should definitely keep it that way because believe me when I say it is an absolute nightmare. In 2006, LEGO launched 2 sets for the show, 3828 Air Temple and 3829 Fire Nation Ship. At the time of this release, LEGO also released sets for another Nickelodeon show called SpongeBob SquarePants. This resulted in the 2 themes duking it out in sales, with the winner getting more sets produced in the end. SpongeBob had more of a fan base since it aired back in 1999, 6 years before Avatar made its debut. So the obvious happened. SpongeBob took home the trophy and ended up having a total of 14 sets produced, with Avatar being left in the dust. When taking a glimpse at the sets, I can see some of the reasons why they didn't sell too well. The builds weren't all that great and the minifigures were a bit on the creepy side, trying to translate the cartoon style eyes from the show into minifigure form. I mean look, even characters like Zuko and Prince Sokka that should have had hair didn't, and instead became pretty much bald. If LEGO were to remake these sets now, I'm positive they would be much better and sell better too, because the show has become even more popular ever since Netflix added it to their roster, and with Avatar Studios now being a thing, all we Avatar fans can do is hope the Airbender and his friends make a comeback in LEGO form. Moving along to number 3, we have a theme that I feel is both loved and hated within the LEGO community, Galador. Galador is another page in LEGO's diary of action figure type sets, and it's certainly one of the weirdest. The theme launched in the year 2002 and was based on the sci-fi kids show Galador: Defenders of the Outer Dimension. The show lasted 2 seasons and was about the adventures of a teenage boy named Nick Bluetooth, his friend Allegra Zane, and their journey into the Outer Dimension to stop the evil Gorm. During its production, LEGO made about 20 sets or so, which included promotional items from McDonald's, and there was even a video game. The weird thing about this theme in my opinion was all of the creatures and the whole concept of swapping the parts to make all sorts of bizarre combinations. It was also a bit weird due to the simplification of building in this line of sets. For a company whose main focus is building, the parts didn't translate that too well since LEGO wanted them to be more like action figures. This explains why the theme didn't do too much for LEGO fans and became short-lived. However, despite how weird this theme may have been, I actually sort of admire its uniqueness. I got to do a bit of glitching at a LEGO convention I went to a while back, and I found myself having a lot of fun in the process. So I think Galador just might be one of those things that I know is strange, but in the end, may end up collecting it. For those of you who are currently enjoying the LEGO Dots theme, I think this next mention will interest you a lot. Next in line at number 2 is LEGO Clickets. Unlike the previous themes mentioned before, Clickets was an original idea from the LEGO group that launched in 2003. It consisted of about 76 sets or so focused on things like jewelry, room decor, and things to style your hair. If you were to remove the LEGO logo from the packaging, I highly doubt you'd associate it as a LEGO theme. And that's one of the things that made it so strange. Not just that, but it made no use of the LEGO brick system, but instead used bit-like parts that could be clicked into frames, storage organizers, and more. LEGO continued to produce sets for this theme until it came to an end in 2006. Albeit different from the norm, it seems this theme was liked enough, seeing how the other themes on this list didn't last that long. 14 years later, LEGO introduced a new theme called Dots, something quite similar to Clickets, but more compatible with the LEGO brick system. Now when making up this list, I thought a lot about the themes LEGO has released over the years, and there was one that stuck out to me the most. Taking home the title of the #1 weirdest theme in my book is LEGO Snap. Snap was a theme that allowed builders to create hollow, frame-like models of different objects, mainly vehicles. At first glance, I'll say that it carries a huge resemblance to Connect's models, because those use the same concept of frame-like models of objects. The theme only lasted for a year or so, and about 20 sets were made. I feel like these sets didn't do too well because the models looked pretty bland, especially if you were to compare them to the LEGO Technic sets that were out during Snap's run. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have bothered to create Snap, seeing how LEGO Technic was a much better designed concept and had its uniqueness in comparison to the Connect's brand. I guess Snap's just one of those situations where some things are best left alone. It's been quite the journey, but this brings us to the end of our weird list. Now I know there have been many other themes released by LEGO that could be deemed as weird, but as I stated before, these stood out to me the most. If there's a theme you consider weird that didn't make it on this list, feel free to leave a comment down below because I'd love to hear them. This is Kirk thanking you all once again for watching, and I'll catch you all later here on Beyond the Brick.